All right, I decided to open these up on camera because they're so beautifully wrapped. Amouage does a really, really great job with their presentation, especially when you get a fragrance. And these were sent to me by Amouage, and I started opening this one, but I thought, you know what, let's leave it for the camera and then do a first impressions on camera after I do the unboxing. So 3 fragrances that have just launched from Amouage, 2 created by Quentin Bisch. One is a new batch variation of Reflection Man 45. I'm going to let you know all about them coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian, talking to you about Amouage fragrances. Are you a fan of the house? What are your favorite fragrances? So it seems Quentin Bisch is getting a lot of work from Amouage. I believe these are now 6 fragrances that he's done for them. We've got Guidance, Purpose, Guidance, the Exceptional Extract, Purpose, the Exceptional Extract. And then we've got now Decision and Existence. So that's 6. Did he do anything else before or after any of those? I can't remember, but I believe he's done 6 fragrances now. So it seems to be working out for the brand. And so Quentin Bisch is the most sought after perfumer. I mean, his name is on so many fragrances. Has he reached 1,000 fragrances yet? I don't know. But I'm curious about these fragrances. I know that Amouage was at Paris Perfume Week, and I got my nose on these very quickly, so I don't remember them. And when I got back, there was a package here, although I think these came much after I came back from my Europe trip at the end of March. But I'm excited to let you know about the fragrances, and then also let you know about the new batch variation of Reflection Man 45. Let me know if you've sampled these fragrances, if you've gotten your nose on them, if you like them or not. Add a comment below. Before I get to the fragrances and do the unboxing, do let you know that there are still some mystery boxes available. If you haven't gotten yours, please do. It's a great collection of 21 unisex fragrance samples. And again, we're going to run out soon. These are shipping on Friday. And so get yours before we completely run out. Once we run out of these, we do not do the same kits again. And there's some great fragrances in this kit. Lots of new brands. Some of the brands I've covered on the channel, some soon. So you're going to get to discover their fragrances in here. All right, so let's get started with the fragrances. Let's open these up. Let's go first with the one that I started before I stopped myself from opening it up. I don't know which is which because they're not really named, but again, Amouage does such a great job with their wrapping. As you can see, really nicely done. And these were sent to me. I did not buy these, and I'm going to let you know what I think about them, honestly, once I get my nose on them. So when I did sample Decision and Existence, I sampled them very quickly, by the way. It didn't wow me at the time, but it was at a perfume show and my nose was a bit fried. So let's see how I, experience these here on camera. So this is the Decision press set right here, as you can see. And it's a bottle of Decision. I think that's how it is. It's a 100 ml of Decision, and I believe 10 ml of Existence. So I think the Decision is the masculine offering and the Existence is the feminine offering, and that's how the bottles are broken up. The tall bottles are masculine leaning typically, and the shorter bottles are the feminine leaning fragrances typically. But I think they've changed things around, and I think in this case it is that way. These are 2025 launches. As I said, they are Quentin Bisch creations. They are Eau de Parfum concentration, 100 ml, 380 for both of them. So quite pricey fragrances, almost $400 for 100 ml. But when you fall in love with a fragrance, either on first spray or after you come back to it and, over and over, because it's not all about, smelling something and loving it right away. Sometimes you do have to come back to them. Sometimes it's worth it, but sometimes for me, I decide, well, it's $380 now. I really like the way it smells. I don't love it. Let's wait until, it's discounted a bit or something, or I can get my some kind of a discount at a department store or a store. And at that time, I think it might be more worth it. But let's see again. So Decision is the tall bottle. I really like the color of this. It's kind of a creamy grayish green. What do you guys think? And it seems like Quentin's doing a lot of incensey notes here. I can't remember if Guidance had the incensey notes, but I think Purpose did. This one does, and Existence does as well. Before I spray this, let's tell you the notes breakdown. We've got Juniper, Bergamot, Vanilla, Frankincense, Cedarwood, Myrrh, Cardamom, Pink Pepper, Patchouli. Those are the notes breakdown, and it does come with 2 strips. It's all included in the box, and I believe Existence is the small one. Yep, it is, as you can see right there. All right, I'm curious to see what Quentin has done. Again, he is probably the world's most famous perfumer right now. At one time, it was Francis Kurkdjian, but I think it's now Quentin. So it's smoky and very aromatic, but definitely on the masculine leaning side. It's a bit Christmas tree-like, especially off the strip. For me, anything that smells like a Christmas tree or pine, I really love. I'm getting those kind of vibes here. Does anybody get that from this? So I'm appreciating it here a lot more than when I smelled it really quickly when I was in Paris at Paris Perfume Week. Second edition of it. This actually does smell like pine. Let's see. So Juniper, Bergamot, Vanilla, Frankincense, Cedarwood, Myrrh, Cardamom, Pink Pepper, Patchouli also. No, it's not so much pine-like on skin, but this is good. Not a love. I think when Guidance and Purpose were launched along with the 2 other fragrances, I didn't really care for Purpose whatsoever. I like this one a lot more. For me, Purpose was, even though it was pretty intense, it was just a bit flat. Wasn't very exciting of a fragrance. It was quite dark. But this one has some excitement, and the fact that I'm getting a bit of a Christmas tree vibe from it, I'm not sure why, I like it a little more. Although now, on skin, it's getting very resinous. I'm smelling the resins. Frankincense is very prominent here, and you can actually smell the actual frankincense because where Amouage is based from, they get, a lot of it coming from the country they are based out of. So when I first sprayed it also, I was getting a bit of warmth, like the vanilla was a bit prominent, but it's kind of like cooling off. So the resin itself, the frankincense, to me is not very warm unless you light it up, and because it gets smoky and it warms up a bit. But once the warmth is gone, in temperature, I think to me it acts cold, as in experience, if that makes sense. So this fragrance to me, even though it has resins, the myrrh, the frankincense, it's a bit colder. Even the vanilla, it has these kind of warmer notes, but even with these notes, it's not acting as warm and ambery as I like it. It is ambery for sure, but I wouldn't call this something like Grand Soir from MFK, Maître Parfumeur Gantier's Ambre Presso, and things like that. It's not that warm because it's contrasted with a lot of colder notes. And there's that juniper here, which is this kind of ice cold, aromatic, spicy note. You've got the cedar, the bergamot. All of these are more fresh. The pink pepper even, the cardamom even, all come off cold and not so warm. But I'm liking the Christmas tree vibe. But now it's completely gone. It was there when it was first sprayed. And I think it was the juniper that created this type of an effect. I usually don't get Christmas tree vibe from juniper. It's more icy, kind of spicy. But I like the idea of the Christmas tree, but it's kind of gone. I like this one definitely more than Purpose. I still have to experience Purpose's exceptional Extrait. but definitely like this more than Purpose, but still have to test it out a little bit to see how much it warms up on skin. Does the vanilla come out further and things like that. But so far, so good. So the next fragrance will be from the Atomizer. So Existence is also created by Quentin Bisch, and this one does sound like it's more of a feminine leaning fragrance. And once again, same price point, same year of release because they came out together. It's Amouage's Decision and Existence together. So it's 100 ml 380 Eau de Parfum concentration. This one has notes of lily of the valley, rose, frankincense, white musk, benzoin, ambergris, Mystikal, Labdanum. And if you don't know what Mystikal is, it's a Givaudan synthetic molecule that is kind of ambery and resinous, earthy, deep, and smoky. So this is what I've learned about online, and I think they needed to make the fragrance a bit resinous and ambery and smoky and deep according to what this synthetic note smells like, and so they used it. But here I'm smelling Lily of the Valley to the max. So Lily of the Valley is one of my all-time favorite green floral notes. I absolutely love it. It's in another masculine Amouage fragrance, and I can't remember which one it was. It's the Aromatic one. I think it's gold. Is it Amouage gold? It's got a lot of Lily of the Valley. It's very classic and Aromatic and musky. Love that one. So it's here as well, but this one does lean more on the feminine side, but I think it's masculine enough with some of the resinous notes, like the Mystikal and, of course, the frankincense and the woody notes and things like that. So it smells a bit better smelling it in the air than on the strip. For me, in the air, it has a bit of a more blended smell. On the strip, it's smelling more like the Lily of the Valley, which is really, really strong. But in the air, it smelled like everything was blended perfectly. So I think this deserves to be put on skin. Now, if you don't like classic, to me, Lily of the Valley does smell a bit classic. So if you don't like classic leaning fragrances, this might not be it for you because, Lily of the Valley was used in that famous Dior, is it Diorissimo fragrance? And so it's associated with more classic fragrances. Also, Lily of the Valley is a green floral note. And for me, it's a bit on the tart side. It's not like a sweet floral. There's a tartness, greenness about it. But let's see how this is. It's interesting. I'm getting a bit of a cannabis vibe. I'm not sure why. So some of the notes, it's also giving me a bit of leather, like a smoky cannabis leather-like effect here. Let's go back to Decision. So Decision has gotten quite smoky and also a bit leathery, but resinous for sure. So I feel like they kind of connect together. But with Existence, I think the Lily of the Valley is pretty strong. For me, it's acting like a total Lily of the Valley fragrance. It's quite dominant. And I kind of wanted a bit more of a balancing act with the rose and the Lily of the Valley. But I'm not getting much rose. It's just all about the Lily of the Valley and all the resins and the musk and musky notes. I don't hate both of these fragrances. I guess I'm going to have to test them out further on skin. But for me, I don't know. I like them. I don't hate them. But I think they will require some more testing out. I feel like as far as the fragrances go, I like that start of Decision that reminded me of a Christmas tree, like it's pine-like. But now it's just become amber, but it's also a bit subdued. It doesn't have a lot of projection. And for me, Existence has more projection in comparison to Decision. And I like fragrances to have, projection, because when I first sprayed Existence, I could really smell it on the strip before I even put it on skin. So I like that about Existence. But there's nothing wrong with Lily of the Valley. I absolutely love it. As I said, a lot of you guys, when you come on, the channel to post comments, and it's Lily of the Valley, the thing I hear about Lily of the Valley is grandma. It smells like a grandmother's fragrance or older person's fragrance, which I personally don't associate with it. But I don't know what you guys think about Lily of the Valley. But is that what you're getting with Existence? And what are you getting from Decision? Are you getting the Christmas tree effect like I got when I first sprayed it, and then it became a kind of a smoky ambery? Both of them have a kind of a slight leathery effect happening. And also Existence is giving me a bit of cannabis vibe, some greenness, herbal kind of smokiness. Interesting. So I think both of them require some testing, but if you've sampled these two fragrances, do let me know. Add a comment below. All right, let's open up Reflection 45 Man, the new edition. But before I talk about this fragrance, I'm going to read what's written on the Amouage website, because it explains why the difference between the new batch variation or batch number versus the old. And I do have my Reflection 45, the current one, and also the original Reflection Man. When I first started getting into doing YouTube videos in 2012, Reflection Man was so popular. So that was like 6 years after Reflection Man had just launched. Also, I've always associated Reflection Man with a Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrance, not identical smelling, but having a similar kind of a vibe. It's Fleur de Mal, kind of similar to me, the original, not the Reflection 45 Man. The Reflection 45 Man, the original that came out like 4 years ago, that's very ambery, which I believe this is as well. But let's see if there's much difference between the original Reflection 45 Man versus the new one that's in this box. So let's see. If you've compared the two, let me know. Add a comment below. And let me know also, are you a fan of the original Reflection Man? What are your thoughts about it? Do you still wear it? Again, it was one of the very first fragrances from Amouage I started wearing. It was Reflection Man and Lyric Man. Those were my two favorites early on. I can't remember which one I got first. But let's see now. Here is Reflection Man 45, or Reflection 45 Man. It's a bit confusing, but let me read you what it says. What makes Reflection 45 Exceptional Extrait Batch J08291 unique? A rare production of an Amouage icon left to age for 5 extra months beyond standard protocol, while the manufacturer waited for the bottles to arrive. If delays occur, the fragrance is chilled, filtered, and stored at low temperatures to preserve its profile. This is common practice, giving ingredients a little extra time to settle into place, allowing the composition to become even more harmonious. With the duration of 5 extra months of aging, Reflection 45 became marginally smoother, while the blend gives off a creamier patina, where the butteriness of the orris takes central stage. The aging also gave the perfume a slightly deeper orange color because of the natural ingredients used within. Not intentionally, Reflection 45 batch J08291 has brightened our days in the manufacture. By communicating about different batch variations and the aspects of aging, the House of Amouage reinforces its stance on authenticity and total transparency within the world of perfumery. So, according to them, Eau de Cologne, EDC, 3% to 10% oils, Eau de Toilette, EDT, 5% to 15% oils, Eau de Parfum, EDP, 15% to 20% oils, Parfum or Extrait, 20% to 30% oils, Amouage Reflection 45 Man, 45% exceptional oils. So the fact that they aged it for 5 extra months changed the fragrance, which is what a lot of people talked about when I was first in this, mostly about Aventus. Which batch variation, which batch number do you have, blah, blah, blah. So now their brands are like capitalizing on the whole aging and all that good stuff, the batch numbers, in order to sell more fragrances. At least that's how it feels like to me. But they're saying it's total transparency, which I like. I want to know if there's a different version. Does it mean there's the previous version? Does the previous version exist? I don't think so, unless they go back to it, I guess. But the current batch is this batch. But the notes breakdown, I think it's the same notes breakdown as the previous. And I do have a video on the Reflection 45 Man when it first launched. But the notes breakdown is orris, frankincense, lavender, sandalwood, myrrh, opoponax, jasmine, neroli, juniper berries, benzoin, pink pepper, tonka beans, vanilla, cardamom, clary sage, cedarwood, vetiver, patchouli, and angelica. This is created by Sieuzac, who created the original in 2006, and the Reflection 45 Man, I believe the original Reflection 45 Man came out in 2022. The price point, is it $520 for 100 ml, $520? I think that's the price. It could be $520 or $530. Sadly, I didn't write it down. But let's smell. I'm going to first smell this, and then I'm going to smell the other. To me, it's reminding me of the other for sure. It's quite ambery and orris, and it's orris, but the neroli and the jasmine are prominent, which is what I get from the original. The original is about jasmine and orange blossom, and this is where it reminds me of Fleur de Mal from the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier. Boy, I wish I could get a bottle of that. It's definitely a favorite fragrance of mine, and I don't have one in my vintage or discontinued fragrances collection. But I think sometimes this satisfies the replacement of that, but it's not identical. But here, there's an underlying slight animalic something with this, and I think I got it in the original as well. So let's try the original. But the thing is, I don't know if I should compare these two, because my bottle has been around since 2022. So this has aged as well. Not like the way they're aging their fragrance. I'm gonna have to spray these and smell on skin. So that's the old one on the right hand, and this is the new one on the left hand. There's definitely a difference, for sure. There's something... This Reflection 45 Man 2025 has some underlying animalic quality about it, which I do remember getting from the original, but it doesn't really come through in the old one that I sprayed. But as soon as I go back here, there's some funk, like a rubbery, leathery, something animalic funk. I do like the new one, but honestly, Reflection 45 Man was not one of my favorite exceptional extracts from this house. I like it. I don't love it. I actually prefer the original for its freshness, because it reminds me of the original, but it gets ambery and resinous and all that good stuff. Then I think, well, I kind of wanted the original because I remember it so much. This is like a fragrance that I'm familiar with the overdose of the jasmine and the neroli, along with that orris to make it all powdery, but it's amber now, because the lightness, the airiness about the original is what I kind of like. And since they've taken this into more of a resinous direction, an ambery direction, and smoky, and now a bit funky animalic, rubbery leathery is what I'm kind of getting. I'm getting leather from all three of the fragrances, and I think it's probably from the frankincense. It's quite smoky and resinous. I like it. I think this should satisfy people, but for me, I much prefer the original. The original, I think, is the fragrance I remember wearing when I first started doing YouTube videos, like 12, 13 years ago now almost. So, but I think if you're into the idea of meshing your favorite Reflection Man with the ambery, resinous, smoky, leathery touches, I think it should satisfy. But you know what? I'll wear these outside of the video and then come back and talk about them. Maybe I'll do an updated video on the exceptional extracts. And because I think they have, what, 7 of them now? Is that how many they have? 7 or 8? So probably it's time to do an updated Amouage exceptional extracts video. And at that time, I'll report more info about the 2 different versions or variations, batch variations. But let me know your thoughts on these 3 fragrances from Amouage. If you've gotten your noses on them. If you haven't, are you curious, or are you going to skip these 3 fragrances out? Let me know. Add a comment below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.